Do you see my screen?
Yes.
So, hello everyone. My name is Zaineb. I'm going to introduce myself again. I'm 17 years old and I'm a 2019 tech girl from Tunisia. First of all, I just wanted to point out about what's happening in Palestine. Hi, Natalie, I miss you. Um, uh, it's been a long time, and I just want to say that we always pray for Palestine, and our heart is always with you. And you're so strong and brave, and God bless you. I hope you're fine and your family is also safe.
Hey everyone, hey Zainab, and thank you so much.
You're welcome.
I appreciate it.
Okay, so today I'm going to be talking about my experience as a teenage girl who dreams to make a change in her community via STEM and technology. And I'm going to focus on a specific experience I had during the lockdown because I think it's like one of the most challenges I faced in my life. And I think it's interesting to share it out with you guys, girls. So this is me. So let's start from the beginning. When I was a child, this is me, a 12-year-old. My interest in mathematics started to sparkle when I passed two hard, very challenging exams, and I presented my city in two competitions, and I won the first place. So it was my big step in STEM, and I knew that I had a passion to scientific subjects and STEM in general. And then one of the happiest events happened when I joined the Frescos Club, which is a nonprofit organization that delivers tech courses in English. And I grew up there along with my passion to technology. And Ons is a member in Frescos Club too, and she helped me a lot in developing myself and becoming the person who I am today. And my first big step in technology was Technovation 2016. I was one of the youngest participants. You can see me here. I look pretty young. Although I didn't win, I was really amazed by that experience because it was my first time presenting in a big room in front of judges. And I knew then that I want to pursue my studies and career in technology. And in Frescos Club, I demonstrated high skills. And so I got promoted to a coach teaching for 2 years. The first year I taught Scratch and App Inventor, Initiation to Programming. And the second one, I taught robotics. And a dream of mine was realized when I became a tech girl in 2019. And it was a very, as you all know, it's a very enriching experience that changed me a lot. And I think that one of the most unique parts of the program is the follow-on project. And mine was called the Ecotech Challenge. It's a 1-week camp that I organized for the children of the boarding school of Specs. So there is a school in our city that many pupils, not only from Specs, but from other regions that come to the school and they technically live there. So they don't have opportunity to go out of the school or even do extracurricular activities. So thanks to this camp, I introduced robotics to these kids who are aged between 12 and 15. And they built their own robots and programmed them. And in the final day, they competed with their robots in a game I designed. And it was a very successful event. You can see all of them are happy. And I couldn't make it without the help of my friends from the Frescos Club who volunteered. And I also participated in many competitions in which I had created mobile apps, games, robot prototypes. But one of the major competitions I participated in was 2 international robotics competitions. The first one is Vex Robotics Challenge, in which I was the programmer of the team. And as you can see, we won the Judges Award. That competition was really big, and it was my first time dealing with people from all over the world, and I don't know, it was so exciting. And the second one is the first global challenge. Ariana mentioned it in my bio. So our team honored Tunisia while after winning the safety award and the silver medal for Albert Einstein Award for International Excellence. And this competition was, I don't know, it was the hardest competition because we worked really for months, and hopefully we won something and honored the country. But then, you know what happened? The world was struck with the coronavirus, and the schools and universities were closed to limit interactions while the healthcare system was coping with the pandemic, and people were quarantined, including me. So, and I was a robotics coach then. So I had a mission, which is to transmit knowledge to my mentees, even at these difficult circumstances. And, you know, at first I felt anxious and stressed, like everyone, but I managed to control my feelings and handle the pressure. And I knew that I have a mission and I should fulfill it to the very end. And, you know, the challenge was how to coach robotics online. Like, such a course requires interaction with material and design. So hopefully the company Vex, because I was a Vex robotics coach, released a software named Vex VR. So this software lets you code a virtual robot using a block and using blocks powered by Scratch. So if you're familiar with Scratch, it wouldn't be so hard for you if you want to try it. And since it is a tech talk, I wanted to introduce it to you girls because it's really interesting. Can you see my screen? Okay. So this is Vex VR. I'm going to show you the robot. Like, I know we are all TechGirls who master coding and many languages, and maybe blocks may seem to you easy and commonplace, but as a TechGirl, when I dug deep into this software, I was really mind blown about how many things you could do with it. So this is the robot. It is equipped with sensors, distance sensor, bumper switch. These are to contain the color sensor. And there's something interesting in this robot is that it has a pen and a magnet, and you can really do cool things with it. And as you can see, these blocks really look similar to Scratch blocks, and they're divided into many categories. You can see the variables and these procedures. And if you're new to this platform, you can try and check the tutorials, the activities, and learn about it. And so I really advise you to check it, especially if you want to enter the domain of robotics. It is really a big, like, it's your first step, and it really helps you to develop your coding skills. I mean, your coding skills that, you know, relate to robotics, not the coding skills that you use to create apps and games, because it's a little bit different. And it's really interesting. Like, I can do a small demonstration. For example, I just want my robot to drive forward and then turn right, like a simple task. That's it. And there are really multiple playgrounds. That means that you can really do a lot of activities with it. Let me show you. Let's get back to the presentation, and I'm going to show you what my mentees did during quarantine. You can see that this is the pen. You know, this robot. It's really drawing some shapes into the playgrounds. And you can see that they used operators, sensors. So it's really interesting, and I really recommend it. And I hope like it seems interesting to you. So this is me doing online coaching. I look a little bit weird, but this is my sister. I was coaching her too. It was a challenging experience because I had to learn the software before coaching it. And hopefully my mentees, they did their projects, and we finished the year thanks to this platform. So I managed to make a change in my community even from home. So one of I learned a lesson from this experience is that you have to believe in yourself, because as a 16-year-old girl, I never thought that I will end up coaching robotics online. And I never actually attended online classes before. So it's my first time in online education, and I wasn't even the student, I was the teacher, the coach. So my advice to you is to never let go any opportunity and to believe in yourself, because even your small actions can make a big difference. My mentees really benefited from this experience, and their parents were also satisfied. So please appreciate your failures, your achievement, and always be proud of yourself. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you so much for presenting. Now we're just going to give time for anybody to ask you any questions, since your presentation is fresh in their minds, about the website, about the VEX website, about Zaineb's experience in tech, anything she presented on. Feel free to ask her any questions. You can unmute or you can put them in the chat, whatever you prefer. I actually have a question to get us started too. Do you think you're going to be using the VEX website even after the pandemic, and once we're in person, you can actually like program like your robotics in person? Do you think you're still going to use it to maybe like map out what you're planning on doing or stuff like that?
Well, it would be really useful for beginners in robotics. For example, before even learning building and design, they could start with this platform, because they can use blocks, and the robot, it is equipped with sensors, so you shouldn't have technical issues with the robot. Like you wouldn't check the wheels and the motors. It's easy and it's very practical. For example, when I used to coach robotics, the whole session, I was checking for technical issues. No, the wheels weren't working, the motors weren't working. So it was really hard and tiring. But if you use this platform, it's so smooth, and you can really start with it. But after you master it, because me, I wasn't thinking that. I was thinking that it is very simple, and it is easy for me. But after I checked it and used it, I realized that you have to work really hard to really understand it. So after you master it, because you can, it's a really big software, you can move to real life robots and using other languages.
Thank you. And then another question, if any other tech girls have experiences with robotics and anything else you want to learn about it, since Zaineb's our expert today with robotics.
I didn't, is this a question? I didn't understand.
Oh no, this was just a question for all the tech girls.
Oh,
I'm
okay.
curious if anybody else has robotics experience too. Like, anybody listening, if you've ever participated in robotics, or if it's something you're interested in. Yeah, just curious about that.
I've never participated in robotics. I did it in 4th grade, so a very long time ago, but then I switched to doing Science Olympiad, which is more just studying and learning how to do like math and different science problems. So I want to do it in college. So we'll see. I guess the question I have then is, how did you get started in robotics, and what would you say are the best first steps for someone who doesn't know that much about robotics?
My first step in robotics, I remember it was my, I don't know, second year in the First Kiss Club. And the entire year, we weren't really building robots and programming them. We were learning about the different types of robot, the different types of drivetrains, and the designs, how to, like, the steps to build a robot. And then we moved to building and programming. There are like you can start directly by building robots or programming, but I think it's better if you use for example, Vex IQ. It's really simple. It's like or Mindstorms. They're like using Lego, and so the building is really simple and the programming is really simple too. So if you are new to robotics and um, you want to try it, you could try with this type of material, because they're easier than dealing with metal and clothes, and so I really recommend. And you can also try VXVR, like for programming. It really helps you. Not like when you will switch to coding using languages like C. I used to coach using my mentees to use robot C, but if you start with VXVR, you may not learn the language, but you will learn the techniques on how to program your robots. So you will have a clear idea of like how are you going to program your robots in the future.
That's helpful. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, if anybody else has any questions too, later in the talk, we can go back to them as well. But now I'm really excited to hear Ansa's talk, if you would like to share your screen.
Okay, perfect. So before starting my talk, I just wanted to say that I am super proud of Zaineb. So as Zaineb said in her presentation, we've been friends and workers for more than like 6 years or something. It's been a while, and I am proud because I have watched her grow to like the amazing person she is today. And I am so proud of all the achievements that she has done and all the great work, the work that she managed to do during last year's pandemic. We were like talking daily, and I witnessed her like learn so fast so that she can continue her mission and coach her mentees. So great job, Zainab, and I'm looking forward to the amazing things we can still do together. So I hope you guys can see my screen. Okay, perfect. Okay, so as Zainab said at the beginning of the presentation, I want to say hi to Natalie. I don't know if she's still here or not. And we extremely support you. We're standing with you. And we are very sorry for all the bad things that are happening there in our dear Palestine. We hope things get better soon and you guys find your freedom. And we're always standing with you, as you know. Okay, so for my presentation today, the title is How Immersive Technologies Will Revolutionize the World. So before starting my talk, I just wanted to give you a quick story that I had earlier this year. As Zainab talked about the First Skills Club, we're both members at that association. And our mission in that association is to provide STEM courses for mentees and to help them learn English. So we provide them the kind of STEM courses they cannot find at their schools or institutions, simply because we're suffering from a very weak focus on technology and STEM in our public education. So at the beginning of every year, we sit together and imagine the new topics that we can include for our mentees so that they can get a better understanding of what is happening in the world, and so that they won't stay backwarded in the 21st century. So when I was doing my research about the new topics that we can include in our association, I came across this great saying that was said by Tim Miller, who is the founder and CEO of iTouch Reality, and I'm just gonna push this, and DigiCapital, which are two leading companies in immersive technologies. So this guy said that immersive technologies, which are VR, which stands for virtual reality, and AR, which stands for augmented reality, are the fourth wave of technology. So when I saw the word the fourth wave of technology, I was just like, what are the first three waves of technology? So actually, the first three waves of technology are PCs, personal computers, the internet, and mobile phones. I think we all own some of these at least, and we all can reflect on how important these technologies are and were and will be in our daily life, in our workplace, and in our education, everything. We can all go watch so many videos and see how these technologies have actually changed everything when they have appeared. So the next wave of technology is coming with immersive technologies, and they are going to change everything as PCs and internet and mobile phones. So as said in the quote before, immersive technologies are virtual reality and augmented reality. So for some people, these terms might be a little bit misleading. That's why I chose to start with defining them. So as an easy way, augmented reality, it's a digital overlay into the user's world. This means that augmented reality does not change your world at like 100% into a digital one, but it adds more, it adds to that physical, boring world that doesn't have many characters. It adds to it characters, and it projects pictures using, for example, a phone's camera. So the thing that you need to keep in mind is that augmented reality is adding to your real life experience. On the other side, virtual reality is 100% digital experience. So it's fully enclosed. It's a fully enclosed digital experience that will replace the user's real world. So virtual reality will reproduce an entirely computer-generated simulation or digital environment that puts the user in an alternative world. So all of these amazing things that we have been seeing in movies, and we thought that this is just part of like science fiction or something, are actually becoming a reality, and this reality is impacting us in different ways. And as tech girls and as people who lost them, I think that we should be aware of what is happening out there. So another major difference between the two of the most popular parts of immersive technologies are which are virtual reality and augmented reality, is that, as I said before, augmented reality uses a real world setting, but virtual reality is completely virtual. And at the same time, virtual reality uses a headset. We're all popular with these headsets that the girl is wearing. We see them. We've seen them so many times. So virtual reality uses these headsets, while augmented reality is something that you can access even with your phone or with any other device that you have at home. And as I said, augmented reality will enhance our experience and the world that we live in by adding other characters to it, whereas virtual reality will put us in a new world completely. So a lot of people might be wondering of how big this market is and how big these investments are. So when I was looking for some statistics on what are people really paying attention to this, or are tech giants like Facebook and other companies really investing in immersive technologies, I actually found huge numbers, especially when it comes to what they are investing in this market. But I just showed like one statistic that shows that even people who have nothing to do with technology are buying these headsets and are including themselves in this tech revolution. So we can quickly read this. So 5.5 million units, meaning like million headsets, were shipped all over the world last year, and this number will be doubled this year, and it will even go bigger by 4 times within the next 4 years. So I think that these numbers are huge, and they should alarm us of how important virtual reality and augmented reality are becoming. Oh, okay. Oh. Okay. So after finding out that these immersive technologies are actually a huge thing, I was just randomly talking to my friends about them, and especially the people in our organization, and we were deciding on whether or not we're going to add them. So at that time, we just talked to our mentees, and most of them were like, oh, virtual reality, we just use this in gaming. And I found out that a lot of people think that this field is just for gaming and everything, but actually, this field is touching so many aspects of our lives, and will continue to do that in the near future. So as you can see, people are using virtual reality in healthcare and engineering and entertainment, in every field that you can think of. So I also looked for some numbers that can help us understand this. So people are using virtual reality to help educate their students and to give them let's say a better and a more realistic experience. So they are using it in every field for education, and students are 274% more likely to understand the things that they're studying, and they will become more confident to apply them when they study using virtual reality. At the same time, so many companies are using these techniques to help their employees, let's say, boost their essential skills like public speaking, networking, sales, negotiation, and everything. So companies are using these techniques to give a realistic experience for their employees, and to help them become better on so many aspects, so that they can benefit their organization, and they can close the gap of like these skills. So keep on pushing these heads. So how will these technologies reshape the job market? I think that this is the most important question that us as students and university students who are focused on STEM and who are working on these fields should ask. So as the next wave of technology is coming, I think that we all question ourselves and see if these skills, or like the master of virtual reality and everything, will be required in the future by people or not. So here I wanted to talk about what these technologies will bring for us, so that we can conclude their importance. So these technologies can help employees provide a better customer service for the customers of every company. And it will also make it easier for people working on engineering to develop better products in less time. And already this technique is used by Boeing, the company, so that they can upgrade their products in shorter time. And it will also impact how people are working. So after COVID, online work and working remotely became like a trend for everyone, and almost a lot of people are imagined to work online. And these technologies can help them work in a much more effective way. So when we see all of these benefits coming together using just one technique, I think that by the time we will graduate, using the use of virtual reality and augmented reality will become even more popular, and we might need at that time to go upgrade ourselves and try to get more and more comfortable with these technologies. So my question is for us, are you ready for this new technology wave? And thank you so much for your attention. I hope you have liked this talk. I didn't want to bother you with so many information because there are so many technical words out there, but I'm really interested in knowing your opinion about the question that I have asked. Oh, so there are questions in the chat.
Yeah, we have a few questions in the chat. You can answer those first as people kind of ponder a bit on your question a bit more. The first one was with how the pandemic impacted the future of technology. How much do you think it impacted it? Do you think it impacted it a lot? It altered maybe the possibilities of the future of technology?
Okay. So as a person who witnessed the pandemic, I think that it has actually impacted technology in so many ways, because before we didn't think that at some point we might be like fully developing robots, softwares, and everything 100% remotely. And now the whole world and the biggest tech companies are looking for alternative ways of how things can still be managed and companies can still run while no one isn't actually in their office. And I can reflect on my presentation in this point, because techniques like virtual reality can really help people visualize everything while they are sitting in the comfort of their homes, and they can still be creative and imagine that you will no longer need to go to the office, and you can still bring the office to your home. It will be more effective than just having like video conferences with your coworkers or something. And this will increase the productivity and will help people and engineers create better products and less time. So I know that this is not just about virtual reality or immersive technologies. The pandemic impacted the future of technology in just so many other ways. Okay. Scientific community. Okay, I think there's a question from Bernie, but I didn't really get the question.
Yeah, sure. So yeah, no problem. So sometimes I've seen like and I thank you so much for this presentation, because I mean, I don't know too much about VR or AR, but this is very helpful. And I was just thinking about, sometimes I've seen like science fiction action movies where like the hero wears like glasses or contact lenses, and then they can see some kind of, virtual reality. And I almost wonder, does that exist in reality? Like, or could it exist? Because like, I see the kind of big glasses that, people wear, but could it be like even a contact lens? And
yeah, sure. I can give you an example with like phones and how they have evolved into the small phones we can find today. So at some point in history, people used to have huge phones and big batteries and small and huge screens and everything. And with the investment in the market of phones, and with the focus of like the biggest tech companies on this, our phones are upgraded and are becoming even smaller, and we can even have an alternative for a phone, and it can be a smartwatch, and like the market is already upgraded in this. And at this level, what we have as like virtual reality, we have these like kind of big glasses that people are wearing, but with no doubt this will increase into like even contact lenses or something. I'm sure that this will happen, and it will be even faster than the revolution that happened with the phones, because now everything is simply faster, and whenever people will be like aware of like what is going to be the next big step, so everyone will focus on it, so that they won't like face that same problems they have faced before with the technology upgrade. So yes, sure. And as I said, when I have done my research, a lot of people are invested in the market, and a lot of companies are doing research on it. And I believe that sooner or later we will have we will like turn from. I know that a lot of people do not appreciate the VR glasses because we think they are too big to carry or to work with, and I am sure that companies are even aware of this, and why not? Probably some of them have already started working on this issue and transforming the VR glasses into smaller and easier to carry ones. And probably within the next, I don't know, probably 2 years or something, we're gonna have a company coming and saying, "I developed the next easiest VR glasses that someone can work with." Yes, so this will happen, I'm sure.
Wow. Yeah, that would be wild. Imagine trying to like take exams or like go to a job interview and you have like your contact lenses, you can like check for information. The teacher would be like, "Everyone take off your contact lenses now, no cheating."
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
I don't think that by that time we will go to school.
That's
It
true.
might be the first thing that we'll delete from our lives.
Exactly.
No, that's so cool. That's the future that we're going to live in. It's going to be amazing.
Yeah.
I have another question. I know in
Yeah.
the beginning of your presentation, you talked a bit about finding ways to like get ahead of like the jump and to find like new like technology, what the future is going to be. So what resources did you use to kind of look into that? Did you just see what's going on now, or is there like a specific like tech company maybe you look at and see what their direction that they're going in?
Okay. So for me, when, as I said, what drives me to do research is my organization, because I believe that we have a mission towards our mentees and we always want to keep them updated to what is happening in the world. So for us, what we always do when we find out that there is something coming up, so for the next few months or a year, we like kind of assign a team to go deeper into that field and to start doing research on it so that they can start like delivering courses in this field by the next year. So for us now, what we're doing is that we're trying to get VR glasses into our association. So for me, I think that this is like the basic thing that someone can do, like save some money and go get yourself the next a new VR glasses. So some VR glasses are cheap, some others are very expensive. I think that you can even have VR glass for around $20 at some spot, and you can still have better ones. I think the more expensive the better. For us in Tunisia, there's always that issue of getting hardware into the country. So it might take you a year to get something, and once you get it, the next upgraded version will be out, and thanks God we're always having a delay in this, but we're just figuring out a way. And after that, we are trying to transform some of our existing courses into courses that can be delivered using VR technology. So this is what is going on in almost all the like the modern schools or organizations that are delivering courses. So what we're trying to have is that we're trying to, as I said, transform some of our courses into VR. And what we do is that we are going to test this next year with our mentees. And at the same time, we have been trying to include some mentees that live outside of Tunisia into our association. So for the past 2 years, we have done this through video conferences. So like the mentees will be in the building of the association. The other mentee will be just in his house in the United States or whatever. This year, we will try to have everyone at their homes and everyone will be using the VR glasses. And we're going to try and provide the same experience for people living in different parts of the world. So this is what we're currently working on. I think it's a big step forward. Probably it will take us a lot of time to implement this because we're just students. So like, I mean, everyone, all the people who are creating the courses are my age. We're 19, 20 years old, and we have limited resources, but you can find everything out there on the internet. So we never stop learning. I hope this answers your question.
No, it does. That sounds so cool. That's gonna be amazing. It's really gonna be interesting just for like somebody to like immerse themselves in like another society, but still living from their own like space. That's gonna be insane. It's gonna be so cool. But if anybody else has any questions, you can ask them now. But if not, we're gonna go into our networking session. Yes, thank you again. Both of your talks were so impactful and so helpful for everyone. So thank you again for coming and presenting. It was amazing.
Thank you.
Of course. So now we're going to go into our networking session. You guys can talk a bit. You can talk a bit about Anja's question that she posed at the end of her presentation, but I'm just going to like go off screen and stuff so you can have your own space too, since it's like a smaller group or stay in the main room.